All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, very excited to be talking to an individual competing at Unified 68 and a very intriguing, engaging matchup for that Unified MMA Lightweight Championship, the vacant crown, as Nick Hrabec takes on James Nakashima. It all goes down on March 27th, and great having James back on the program. How's it going, man?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's cool, man. And it was sweet seeing this announcement come up because Unified MMA is one of the big circuits, if not the biggest circuit in my neck of the woods in Canada. So, like, how did things come about with fighting in the Unified cage here at the River Cree Casino coming up in Edmonton?
Just my manager Tyler's just a maniac, and he's just always reaching out. And I had a fight fall through, and uh, just they were Unified. We had been in contact with Unified, and they were willing to make it happen. So, man, thanks to Alan for making this happen. I've been trying to get a fight at 55s for over a year. It took about since my last fight in February. I've been strict about staying down at 55, and I've stayed down the whole time. So it's I appreciate Alan for making this happen.
I guess relative to what you know about the situation, like, why was it so difficult for you to lock in a fight at lightweight for that period of time?
I don't know. I was with a different management company, and they couldn't find me anything. I got a ton of offers at 70, but then I signed with Tyler, and Tyler find me something in two months. So I, I I really don't know. And I like I said before this fight with Nick, there I had one lined up, and it fell through, but it was for the same exact date, so it's like perfect.
Yeah, I guess it all kind of like fell into place and worked out in its own way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's cool. And yeah, it's been a little bit since we've last talked, man. We kind of last chopped it up, I guess, when you were predominantly fighting in like the one championship circle and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it's good to get to catch up and stuff like that and just kind of touch base with how you're doing. And yeah, it's interesting that you're, I guess, getting down to like lightweight now and stuff like that. Just I guess considering some of your past history in higher categories, like, is this almost more of like a natural fit for you in a sense, like your optimal category? Like, are there like specific amendments to how you prepare to like make that lightweight limit? Just curious about that piece.
Yeah, yeah, I'm naturally a lightweight, so it's not a super easy weight cut, but it's definitely fitting, and it's just something that I wasn't mature enough to be able to handle in the younger part of my career, but I'm definitely ready for it now. It's gone smooth up to this point, and it's going well. So you're based out of Canada?
I am, yeah.
Are you going to be at the fight?
It's a little out of my scope. It's in like a different province, but I do like it out there. Like, I've been to Unified fights in Edmonton, and that River Cree Casino is a great venue there. I guess it's more specifically in Enoch, like the First Nations community, but like Edmonton adjacent, I suppose. But I do like it out there. Yeah, I won't be at this particular one, however.
That's cool. Ever since I was a kid, and I always looked at the globe. I always looked at that part of Canada, like the central of Canada, and it always just like I've always wondered what was up there. So it's kind of a cool opportunity to be able to get up there and, and fight up there too. It's cool. And on an Indian reservation, that's cool.
So there's always kind of been like a curiosity piece, like relative to, I guess, your geographic fascination and all.
Yeah, it's just always. I mean, I just it just seems so like I don't know, uh, just uh, vast. And I'd always wondered what was up there, and I didn't know that Edmonton or Alberta or Enoch or any of that. I knew about Edmonton because of hockey, and I love sports, and I just I know about the Oilers and Canadian hockey, but yeah, I just it's a cool opportunity to go up there and just feel the culture too.
Yeah, I feel like it would fit your vibe. I feel like the Canadian cultural sensibility would kind of fit well with how you seem to come across. I feel like you have a very, like, I guess, calm, measured demeanor that I think kind of fits well within that, I guess, Canadian cultural sensibility. So yeah, you're gonna kind of get out and mingle a little bit, like outside of the fight related obligations and all.
Yeah, I actually have a lot of family coming, and we're gonna stay a couple days, and check out, eat, and I want to get out in nature. I want to see some wild animals and just do whatever my daughter wants to do. But we're gonna stay for a couple of days after and really use it as an opportunity to get some culture in you.
No, it's really cool, man. And just, yeah, what a great experience. I mean, you get your ideal outcome, win this title, and get to spend some quality time with your family. It seems like that would check off a lot of boxes for you.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess relative to what you know about your opponent here, just curious to get your thoughts on if you, I guess, have any particular assessments of your opponent. Is the tape study piece more so something you allocate to those close to you to kind of curate a game plan around? I guess just curious your familiarity with Nick Hrabec and what he brings to the table as a mixed martial artist.
Well, he's he's a big 55er, 6'2", 78-inch reach. I think he tries to fight long too, so yeah, he's smart. He, just he's 11-6. Like some people might say that's not a good record, but the last guy I was gonna fight was 8-7, and he was a good fighter, and not the one that fell through Slava Claus. But I think Nick, he's long. He tries to fight long. I think he has good grappling defense initially off the takedown. It's been hard to find any content on him. It's I watched there's a few videos of him on there. I love watching videos and studying and game planning and strategy and shit like that. So I'm all over it. But he's a tough fighter, and I nobody nobody's no anybody who fights in MMA isn't just gonna lay down. They're gonna fight with like their backs against the wall. So it's it's gonna be a tough fight.
And it's curious, it seems like you're training with Christian and Adrian Lee these days. Is that the case? And then I guess to expound upon that, like what's that whole dynamic like? I would think you would glean a lot of information from, such high level mixed martial artists there.
Yeah, the dad Ken connected me with Christian like 2 years ago, and they have flown me out there a couple times to. I live in Austin, Texas, but they flown me out there a couple times to help Christian with his camps. And even this Adrian just fought like a couple weeks ago, and they were trying to get me out there to help him. So yeah, I have a really strong connection with the family. Like I've known them for 2 months, but or no, I've spent 2 months out there. Like, every time I go out there, I spend about a month out there in Hawaii, and but it seems like I've known them guys for forever. It's just a really high level family, really high level gym. Christian is the best MMA fighter I've ever trained with. I think he is serious. Uh, I think he could. If anybody could mess with Islam, I think Christian could hang with him. Uh, yeah, I've learned a tremendous amount training with getting to know the dad, and me and Christian have developed a relationship, and me and Adrian, I love that kid. He's an animal too. He's 19 years old. He's going to be that Adrian Lee versus Tyra Tulo fight. I think that was the greatest pro debut in the history of MMA that Ty displayed, because Adrian Lee is an absolute monster, and Tyra Tulo is the truth. He's the absolute truth. That was a great fight. Did you get a chance to see that?
I did, yeah. I actually have interviewed both guys somewhat recently. Like I interviewed Ty Rutolo actually a day or two ago. He's grappling tomorrow, actually, relative to when this recording comes out. And I spoke to Adrian Lee ahead of his last fight there. I mean, two, yeah, incredibly talented mixed martial artists for sure. That's big praise to tout it as the best MMA debut ever. But I don't think it's like an unreasonable assessment at all. I mean, so much proficiency shown in that performance and took that submission grappling skill set and transposed it into MMA quite well.
Yeah, I think Tyra. I really think highly of both those guys, but I think highly of Tyra Tulo too. I've met him, and I followed his career. I think he's him and Adrian. I'd love to see like what's that called, like a when they like a rematch, or even like a sequel, I guess,
Yeah,
uh,
sequel clash, something like that. Yeah.
down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely as they continue to grow, because those guys, I think the world of both those guys.
Yeah, well, that's just it. They're both still so young and have such a wealth of talent. And just considering how great that first fight was, I mean, imagine how great the rematch could be X amount of years from now. So just, yeah, really incredible stuff. I guess it just speaks to like that general level of where the sport's at nowadays and just like how refined certain guys can be just, so early on in their journeys and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the MMA game it's grown so much over the I mean, man, I'm 37 years old. I've been in this for a really long time, and to see where the game is at now compared to when I started, it's 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 been it's a different game.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I guess to the point of Tai Ruotolo, I mean, I feel like he brought that, like I said, the jiu-jitsu piece over well into MMA. And I feel like you've faced guys who can really, I guess, fit within that too, like Shinya Aoki, for instance. But, and I guess I say this with respect to Aoki, I don't mean this in a particular way per se, but I feel like just the refinement piece of Tai Ruotolo's stand-up game, I feel like just that was a very interesting dimension of what he brought to the table. But I guess, again, that's kind of within the line of like what's happening in the sport, like just that elevation piece and everything like that.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly why I think so highly of that pro debut by Ty because Adrian is a really good striker, and for Ty to be able to hang in there and look smooth and look cool, and Ty looked, man, yeah, it's he's on track. That's exactly the just MMA, totally well-rounded Ty. Because I mean, obviously with the grappling, like you said, but yeah,
And I've referenced it a couple times, like your tenure with one championship and some of the different fights you had under that banner. Like one of the first times, if not the first time we spoke, was around your Yushin Okami fight, which I felt like that was quite the feather to get in your cap, just securing that win and the way you went about doing it. I guess like in totality, like what was your one championship experience? It seemed like you got to test yourself against some very talented mixed martial artists in the one circle.
yeah, it was really cool. It was really good opportunity for, like you said, for experience. I fought two of Khabib's guys. I fought a couple Japanese legends. I fought, Louis Santos was really hurting me bad until he hurt it until I was able to land a takedown and he kind of got hurt. I don't know I don't know, but yeah, I fought really high level competition and it was cool traveling. Like again, once again, getting to get that culture in you, but I, yeah, I mean, that's what I still think of sometimes to this. Like, I didn't realize that it was going to be so hard to get fights on the regional scene, as that's one of the reasons why it was so easy for me to leave one because I wanted to fight in the United States. I wanted to fight for the UFC. So I was willing to, take that risk. But sometimes, especially when I get down, I question whether that was the right decision, but maybe just putting my family in tighter spots and just on hard to get fights at 55. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I signed with this new manager and he's able to get me a fight in 2 months. So, and especially, a good fight against a tough opponent for a title, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one of those things. I mean, it probably good on you to even like try to like take that gamble though. And I mean, I guess that is a bit of a quandary, like the whole getting fights piece, because like obviously you have like a high pedigree, so maybe certain people aren't looking to, get matched with you. And I feel like that's, I guess, like, to the point of like the sport kind of shifting in some regards. Like I feel like that's been more of an emergent piece over the last like X amount of years, like maybe more so that dynamic of like, oh, do we want to take this fight? Like this guy's fought for like one championship and maybe this, prospect we're trying to like curate almost, maybe that doesn't fit well within that. Like, was it like a bit of that you felt like you were experiencing? I guess I'm ultimately asking you to make a bit of an inference, but it kind of reads like that to me a little bit, at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, training at the lab, I had trained with a lot of fighters who had been in the UFC and then had gotten cut and they told me that the opportunities were endless. So that was like when you get out of the UFC and you fight on the regional scene, it's just they said you get plenty of opportunities. So I had thought that it was going to be much easier than it was. And like I said, I do get a lot of like I get plenty of opportunity at 170. Like everybody knows that I'm an undersized 70 pounder and that definitely I think is an edge. But yeah, I think I could just and I took when I first started like I took after I left Wanted, and I moved to Austin. After I left one, there's a lot of things that happened. I left one, I left my management, and I left the lab, and I just kind of blew everything up, and I wanted to restart over. And I was 12-0, and then I went on a 3-fight losing streak, and it's just just trying to keep my head up and trying to keep grinding every day and stick and just stay on it. But I I forget what we were talking about.
No, fair enough. I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting to like follow along with the broader journey, and I feel like this presents like a good opportunity within that as well. Like, I guess, like, hey, what's the sentiment in that kind of regard? Because you're talking about how it's been like difficult to kind of secure these fights and stuff like that. I imagine there was like a solid sentiment when this finally got locked in, like maybe even a sense of relief, just considering the aforementioned difficulties.
Yeah, I was talking about like why it's yeah why it's been difficult to find fights, and even
Mhm.
when, like I said, after I blew all that stuff up, like I wasn't even looking for fights for a couple of years. Like I had lost to back-to-back high-level grapplers. I lost to Aoki, and then I lost to one of Khabib's guys. So I just like to me it didn't even seem a point to even fight if you didn't know how to grapple. So I wanted to learn how to really grapple. So that's why I moved to Austin. I started learning from Gary, training with Gary and John, and after I started, I was like twice a day learning how to grapple with these guys with and just learning from them. And I competed a shit ton around Austin. I've got like 147 matches in the last 4 years since I've been here. So like it's just traveling all over. I feel like Texas is one of the greatest places you could learn how to grapple. IBJJF, ADCC, everything is always here. But after I finally got my feet underneath me a little bit with the grappling, I got my feet back into MMA, and I still just taking whatever I could take at 170, and I won one. I won my first one back, and then I lost my second one back, and then I got another. And these are all like the two of them were on like 10 days notice. I got one in Vegas like last year, and I took that and I won that. And ever since then, I just I wanted to be a little bit smarter, and I should be fighting at 55s. I'm a true 55er, so I like was really strict about staying down there, and it was just really difficult to find a fight last year. And like you said, I think a lot of those factors to play is like that I did fight for one, and that I'm a grappler, and yeah, I don't know. I was just That's just one thing that I question is whether it was really a smart thing to leave one championship, and you know, it's just, but whatever, we are here we now. Like I said, I'm just really grateful for my management. Be able, this guy's a maniac. He's just, he's been able to fight. I signed with him. He found me a fight in 2 months, and then this one fell through, and then he found me a fight the next day. So I don't know. Maybe I don't even know if me was a factor. Maybe it was the management that I had working for me.
I guess I'd be curious to get your thoughts on that broader like landscape because you talk about the submission grappling tournament experience and kind of diving into that piece more and like obviously the wrestling history you have is established. I mean that university of Nebraska piece that's produced certain people like Jordan Burroughs, for instance, and whatnot. I guess like what are your thoughts on that broader landscape of submission grappling, like UFC, BJJ, PGF? I mean, there's so many circuits like Polaris, etc. And then I guess what Real American Freestyle is doing as well. Like, is that something that you kind of look at and have like a certain curiosity to indulge in if a certain opportunity would manifest in those lanes?
No, not at all. There's guys are on a whole nother level than I train with those best guys every day. It's a whole nother level. They smoke me, and I stay in my lane with MMA, and I did it purely for MMA. Like I said, man, I was the big dog at the lab in the grappling. Like Benson was good, but I had a little bit of a size advantage on Benson. Like if anything, we were, I don't know. I it's not like I didn't try. Like I thought that I was a good grappler when I was fighting for the one title. Like I thought that I was a really good grappler, and until I fought, even after I fought Aoki, I thought that that was a fluke, and I thought that I was a good grappler. Then I fought Khabib's guy, and Khabib's guy just ragdolled me. I realized I didn't really have any defense, and that's like one big thing that Danaher is huge on down here is having defense. And it was all just purely for MMA. I'm done with competing. Like I said, I completely immersed myself in that scene. And 147 matches in 4 years is a lot. Like I was very active, driving all over the place, and I've gotten a lot better. I'm really happy with where my grappling is at now, and I just, uh, it's been it's been cool to learn, and it's been cool to be in that scene, that jujitsu scene. I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of cool people, and it was yeah, it was for me, it was all about MMA.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from, like more using it to like serve the broader mixed martial arts game. But you mentioned Benson, and I thought it was intriguing that he has a fight coming up, that PFL Brussels fight, and he's actually going to be headlining that event. Was that something that you were aware of, or any particular thoughts on that one, fighting an unbeaten kind of surging prospect there and Patrick Haverora?
Uh, no, I don't. I rarely get on social media, so I didn't know. And me and Benson don't ever contact. I love Benson, but we were just friends in the practice room. That was it. It didn't go on beyond any of that. So I hardly I only stay in contact with a couple of people from the lab, but
Mm-hmm.
Benson's he's uh no fighters don't ever retire. I feel like I guess that's kind of what I've heard, and that's funny. That's because I remember I don't know. I just feel like fighters never retire, and as long as they keep calling, and Benson's training. Benson for any one workout, Benson will train as hard as he can go as deep and as in the water as anybody. And Benson's a dog, so that's cool to hear that he's fighting again. Like I said, that's funny because I always think that's funny whenever fighters say that they retire, and I don't know, they always come back.
I guess speaking to the point of people that, at least in prior times, I've known you to be in touch with, because I understand that pro wrestling star Juice Robinson was like a buddy of yours in high school, and even circa January 2021, it seemed like you guys still were able to like get in, I guess, certain workouts and stuff like that. And he's kind of taken off with AEW in recent years. Like, is Juice Robinson still someone you're keeping up with at all?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in years. He had a show here in Austin, and he got us in, and he took us backstage and everything, and it was really cool to see him. And that was the last time I saw him. And I just sent him a long. I haven't talked to him, and I haven't talked to him in person or like in a phone or person in a couple of years. But I just sent him a really long message, like right before Thanksgiving, and we were just talking about everything both of us have just been through, like just I don't know, just the roller coaster of both of our careers and everything that he's been through, and just being grateful and just same thing, keeping our head down and sticking with it. And he's man, it's just like me and him have been on this journey. You know, we both made these goals together, and we've been on this journey forever. And he's it's just been it's something special.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have both done incredible things. Like I said, he's doing well in AEW and had great successes in New Japan Pro Wrestling before. And I mean, you've done great stuff too, winning that LFA welterweight title previously. And I would think that winning a title here and in a different division, no less, I feel like that would be like a nice capstone to kind of add to the career, like another, achievement, something that really add to the ledger that could be cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
No, it's just cool, man, and cool that you have like the, I guess, adventure and family journey piece attached to it as well. But yeah, man, it's been great getting to chat in general, James. I figured I'd give you the floor though, if there was in fact like any kind of final parting thought you were maybe inclined to add as we're wrapping up here. It was nice catching up.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. Thank you. Sorry I was late again, but that was awesome.
No, yeah, no worries at all, man. I mean, it was like a very marginal, slight sort of thing, and I'm kind of just working on some odds and ends things anyway. So no worries. Just it, yeah, I appreciate you making the time, and yeah, it's been a few years, so nice to have you on ahead of this foray into my neck of the woods here. And yeah, it should be a great fight on March 27th. And Unified 68 going to feature Nick Hrabec going down and vying for that vacant Canadian lightweight championship and doing so against this lad, James Nakashima, who I'm very appreciative made the time tonight. And yeah, great insights, man. Looking forward to peeping this one when it goes down. But until then, you enjoy the rest of your night. And thank you so much.
All right, thank you, man.